Turn your best stick. Hey, welcome to Samurai Reviews. Today, going over the movie Aladdin, Disney remake. You know how it goes. Let's start with our ratings. I generally enjoyed it. Didn't enjoy it as much as, seeing the animated Aladdin for the first time, for sure. But it was still very fun to see it all brought to like live action, to see it all done. And it was done in a way that was very like respectful of the older one, but also added something new to it. But it didn't really connect well at some points, and there's some specific pacing issues that I noticed, and some consistency errors, which the other one had as well, because it's a Disney movie. But there are some issues, and of course we'll get into that. So for me, I really like the acting. That's going to help my rating out a lot. For me, it kind of comes out to about a 6.5, above average, near, like pretty damn near good movie. But yeah, it's 6.5 is what I'm going to rate it.
It wasn't the best movie Guy Ritchie has ever directed. And I feel like
Sherlock Holmes.
I feel like it's partially the producers' fault for this one. They're kind of restricting his creativity. I'll give it a 6. Just a lot of 50-50 in this movie.
Yeah.
I just can't. But it was entertaining.
Yeah. For everything that's good, there's something that you're just like, hey. Yeah.
Usually there's 3 of us. The past 2 movie reviews. There was one without him. And he was busy, so he's busy again. But this time, we're going to put in his input for the rating. And what would you say? What would you give us, Jonathan?
Hey guys, Brett.
I hear him.
Other left, Brett. Brett.
Dude, just right back.
Yeah. This one, I really enjoyed it. If I just had to give it a rating right off the top of my head, it'd be a 9. But obviously, I got to be a little bit more critical of it. So my final would be 7.5. Basically, the downfalls of it are just the villain. He's just kind of there to move the story along, but he doesn't really add anything to it more than that. He's just there. And some of the acting at the beginning is just between Aladdin and Jasmine. I didn't think connected, but then once they get into it, it definitely does. So all the positives, it's super colorful, it's super fun. The dancing and the singing are really creative and done really well. And the acting from Will Smith as the genie was done really well. And Naomi Scott as Jasmine was also my other favorite. So for all those, give it 7.5. Definitely a 9 though, enjoyment-wise. So go out and see it. Definitely a family fun show. And like, comment, and subscribe.
And there you go. That was his rating.
Oh my God.
That comes out to a samurai review of a 6.6.
Blackout. If you like Aladdin, definitely see it, because they do all the songs justice and stuff. But yeah, 6.6. Get into the non-spoiler part of what exactly went wrong, what went right. Yeah, for me, I enjoyed pretty much the first half of the movie. They added an element of like dance and even some like hip hop in some of their songs that really made it kind of stand out from the animated version for me. And it was really fun. Like the choreography was amazing for specifically the musical scenes.
Set design
was awesome. Costume design was great. Except for the fact that Aladdin's thing was red. It really is not that big a deal, but it bothers me. So yeah, it was a fun movie. The colors were beautiful. Yeah, the setting was gorgeous. They had some moments in it where the CGI was like stunning, and then there times where the genie looked fake as hell. Just looked like a bloated Sour Patch Kid. And none of that was Will Smith's fault in this. I thought he was actually maybe the best part of it.
He was the best part of the movie.
Jasmine was really good too, though. Naomi Scott played the hell out of Jasmine in this movie. And there are scenes where you can feel the emotion.
The only thing I liked out of this movie was the second act of it. I didn't like the first act. The second act was great, and the third act was
problematic.
Was trash.
That was where it fell apart for me.
Yeah. Casting, a lot of the casting in this movie was 50-50 for me, where it either was really good, and then there were roles that just did not work, and then there were other roles that were like it worked, but then it also didn't work. Mm-hmm. Like I said, a lot of it was 50-50. I really loved some of the music numbers. Like what Brett said, it did set apart from the old original animation. You know, different feel for the movie, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. We would have liked a little bit of a better pace, a little bit more of a setup with the villain.
Villain felt very hollow. Yeah. Very boring. And Jafar's, as far as the animated movie goes, was one of my favorite villains. And he has so much like character to him, and this it just kind of gets stripped away. The character arc of Jasmine was strengthened a lot, and I really liked it. So she's no longer just going after Aladdin. Like that's not her main. Like that's a goal in this, obviously. But if anything, Aladdin's more chasing her. And she kind of has bigger aspirations in this movie, and it lets her character be an independent, like, woman instead of just being this, like, the cliche princess needs a man type thing. And it's really well done. If anything, this movie did better. It was absolutely that. Mm-hmm. That was better than the original.
And then we'll kind of get into it, but there was a scene that kind of set that apart as well. That was just like we said, just goosies.
But yeah, the rest of it was really cool. Like Abu CGI was like great. I didn't have any problem with Iago. Like those types of animals they did great with. I didn't see a problem with that. They looked really well done. So there's just little pieces here and there. And that's kind of what you're gonna like kind of hear from us this whole review, is that there's just every single time you get a good thing, they're winding up to hit you with something where you're just like, you're not like that's awful, but it doesn't flow with the rest of the setting or the rest of what's going on.
I feel like I really have to pick on the producers, because I feel like they told the director, hey, you need to focus on this one scene, and then they just forget about the other, scenes or parts of the scene because they wanted the director or just the actor to just focus on that and just kind of like take their mind off of this other part of the story that would have set it, even further apart from the animation.
Definitely felt like they were holding back. Specifically with Genie, too. Yeah. That's one of the things I noticed. Like, I really, like, Will Smith did great as Genie, as we said before, but he could have done so much better, too. But it did feel at times like they were kind of pulling the reins on him, kind of like literally putting the Genie clamps on him. But I feel like he could have done more with the role, and they just kind of, I don't know, they had a set thing that they wanted to do, and they wanted to make sure to get those Genie lines in, where I think Will Smith could have done it his own way, and it would have came across a lot better. And the way that, like, Robin Williams, why his Genie is received so well is because they let him play around with Genie.
Yeah, he went all out.
Yeah.
Like, I wish they would have let Will Smith all out, because we would have loved him even more. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're not saying that we didn't love him. We loved him.
Yeah, he was excellent. They just need to let him
He was the best
loose.
Part of the movie.
Yeah.
With, Jasmine and Aladdin.
So one of the things I was going to pick on you people for is y'all were hating on Will Smith before this movie came out. And me and Josh were like the only people telling people to chill out. Like, who else do you want to play him? Robin Williams? Not available. Get over it, man. Man. Yeah, rest in peace.
But seriously, there was no other man that could have replaced Robin Williams for the role of Genie
other than Will Smith.
Other than, my man, Will Smith.
He did really well, and if you go see this movie, you'll see it too. It's very it's objectively a great portrayal of Genie. Mm-hmm. And y'all were hating on him for the way the CGI looked. He don't control that. Yeah. Come on, y'all. But overall, it's a fun movie to see, no doubt. It's great for your kids if you want to kind of bring them into the Disney fold and like have them have the same entertainment value that you had when you first watched Aladdin or stuff like that. It's really fun. It's definitely worth a watch.
It's a movie that you would, you'll enjoy watching, and you'll want to watch again, but more like later down the road.
Mm-hmm.
For me, you know, it was nothing like Avengers Endgame, where I just wanted to watch it the next day again, or like that night, you know, back to back.
Yeah, you can wait.
Or 6.6.
That's worse. But yeah, with
Spoiler part of the
that,
movie.
yeah, I'm gonna refresh my lamp here. Just rub it a little bit. Yeah, so spoilers, we'll just start at the beginning. We kind of won't go over, or we'll try not to go over, the things that happen in the older Aladdin.
Spoilers from the start. This is a...
Yeah, it's a remake.
It's a remake, guys. Come on.
Remake. One of the things that kind of pushed it down is that it is a remake for my review score. Because if you already have the like key elements of the story written out, like you're not going to get as much credit from me. That's one of the things that I value in a movie is creativity and certain uniqueness brought to the screen. And like this one obviously didn't have that, and you know, because it was a remake.
They tried.
And that's what they...
And one of the things that they tried, they did really well, and the other things were just not as good.
Like if it was an original movie, I'd probably rate it like 7.5. Yeah, so the spoilers.
Yeah, let's go with the beginning. Start from the beginning.
So it actually opens up. All right, let me pull out my rant card real quick, because like movies recently have been doing this so much, and I don't understand why it's happening so much now. Well, Detective Pikachu was the last one that did this, but in this movie, they do the whole thing where like there's a mystery character in the back, and you only see the back of her head, and it's like clearly Nazim Pedrad's character Dahlia from the movie.
Yeah,
and like so Will Smith is talking to his kids on the boat is how it's kind of opens up, and he's like, I'm going to tell you the story about Aladdin and tell you why you should appreciate what you have, that kind of thing, right? And then, yeah, Nazim Pedrad obviously is in the bathroom, and she's like, oh, you're telling them stories. And it's like, that's Nazim Pedrad. Just show her face. You show Will Smith's face. Like, I know it's going to end up being Nazim Pedrad, which is like, the payoff at the end is like when Genie gets freed, which we all know. As the story goes, he basically gets with the handmaiden of Princess Jasmine, played by Nazim Pedrad, and they go sail with their kids. But like, I don't understand the need to set that up when like everyone knows what you're doing. And if you didn't see it then, when it was the back of her head, you sure as hell saw it when she first came on screen.
Yeah.
And they were like flirting. So like, just a little rant. Like, stop doing that. Stop trying to trick me with stupid tricks. Like, they're not like really, really test me. You know, it's dumb. Not just me, like everyone else can see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's a cheap writer's trick that they've been doing lately.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's my little rant. Back to the story. So he opens up and he like starts singing the Arabian Nights song to his kids, and that was actually like, I was worried about that because like that original kind of sound, whoever sang it in the original animated movie, like had that sort of sound to it that really made it like interesting and like authentic.
And but that mystery, like, mysterious of like the land and the country desert, and that kind of really stuff. Cool.
But Will Smith again like brings it home. Like their version of this is like just as good, honestly.
Yeah. No.
If not for nostalgia, I would probably say better. Yeah, no, it was great. It did a great job of setting up the scenery for you. So it kind of goes through the bazaar and then goes up to the palace and then back out to the Cave of Wonders and like shows you the whole kind of the area, the geography of the area that you're going to be in for the next, 2 hours. It's pretty interesting because it follows Abu for a little bit. I think that was the most artistic thing they did the entire movie.
Yeah, and that's why I got to give Guy Ritchie. He does set things just very well.
I love Guy Ritchie.
The universe very well.
Perfectly sets the mood for you. But yeah, it has a mystery, has that element where you already know what's happening, so he doesn't really need to tell you who is who.
It dives straight into Jasmine in the marketplace, and then she gets caught.
By the way, the store owner that like catches her,
oh yeah,
he was really good. I really enjoyed his. No, I loved him. I loved him. No. He was entertaining as hell. I liked his little twang to it. He was very eccentric. Josh obviously thinks it was a little overacted.
Yeah,
but I enjoyed it.
And then that first song, right, with with Aladdin running through the city. It's actually different this time because he's running with Jasmine. The thing is that the something different with the animation is that song sets up Aladdin kind of before they
Jasmine,
meet. They meet each other in the marketplace, and that song kind of just has them two going together and running through the marketplace. So it kind of felt a little rushed. Yeah. It didn't set up the character Aladdin. So I just didn't understand like why they didn't give him that character setup.
Especially with the directing style in some of these scenes when they're running through, they'll like speed up and slow down it's like a Musically. Or like
they musically
with TikTok, it's called TikTok now.
They musically speed
That's what it
up
looked like. It's like random moments,
yeah,
random intervals. It wasn't like consistently
you're just like, oh, what's happening?
All of a sudden they're like walking, and then they're like it's like, whoa, okay, what's going on? And then they'll slow down, and then they're like, but they're still singing at the same pace.
Yeah.
But it did that randomly, and then it never did it again in the movie.
It was weird.
Like that's the kind of things you were talking about in the non-spoiler, where it was just kind of like, what are you trying to do? It's not bad. It just like keep it consistent. Like give me like what are you trying to do? So just didn't really fit with the entire movie. I did like the parkour in it.
No, the parkour was
really cool.
Fun. Yeah,
he like kind of twisted around
the parkour
this wall.
was fun.
And it also kind of shows off Aladdin's kind of sleight of hand skills, and like it just would have been better if they had taken more time to focus on that rather than just do this quick number.
Yep.
And then move on, which they do. I mean, they move on to Jasmine right after it.
Yeah, they go back to Aladdin's place. They end up getting away from the guards, go back to Aladdin's place. They're flirting, they're kind of having this connection, which the connection seemed to me like really pushed on and really fast.
Yeah.
Wasn't genuine at all. What happens is that instead of Aladdin finding out that Jasmine's the princess, she kind of just lies and says that she's
Dahlia.
She works for the princess. She goes back into the palace because a new prince is coming in.
Yeah. And she thought that Aladdin stole her bracelet because Abu's still in thieving mode, and so he kind of keeps the bracelet, and when Aladdin goes to give it back before she has to leave,
he doesn't have it because Abu has it. And then so she's angry. She kind of storms off. She's like, "Oh, you lost my mother's bracelet. Like you're always a thief. I'm not a thief because I like you. I wouldn't.
You're
take
pretty though." So then they kind of split up, and she goes to meet Prince Anders.
Meets the prince. Oh my god!
And he's hilarious.
I thought he was so dumb.
It was extremely dumb.
It made me laugh so hard.
He just kind of plays this kind of like, that was another eccentric character, I guess. Like he's this kind of like almost flamboyant type prince like been pampered his whole life. He's the absolute like whitest guy in the movie, and he's just an absolute fool, and it's awesome and hilarious. And honestly, the guy did pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty short-lived. Kind of cuts away pretty fast. It's like the tiger doesn't like him, and then it cuts to the next scene. But yeah, so the next scene is, Aladdin singing about the street rat. Yeah. And that he doesn't buy that, and then decides he's gonna sneak into the palace.
So
her bracelet back.
He gets the bracelet back from Abu, and he's like, Abu, look, there's a time to steal things, there's a time to not steal things, and that was definitely not the time to steal things. Yeah. Because you put me
because I thought she was pretty
in some doo-doo. So he sneaks back in the palace, he returns the bracelet.
The sneak around scenes are pretty fun. Yeah. The way he moves through the castle is pretty fluid. And that's one of the things that at least the beginning parts of this movie do well. Is it's fluid transitions through scenes, and then that falls apart later. Yeah, so he sneaks in and then meets, the princess, and Princess Jasmine pretends that she's the handmaid still, and then Dahlia, Nazim Pedrad,
who is the handmaid, pretends that she's the princess.
Totally biased here, but she was the best person in the entire movie. No, she was. I really enjoyed her comedy, but I can see how it would kind of not come across well sometimes.
There's some things I'm just like, was that necessary?
Her delivery is awkward, but it's on purpose. It fits
her character. Yeah. It's great. Like, it's her character. Awkward. But yeah, that's the thing. I was all like, was that necessary?
Yeah. So he tells Jasmine that he's going to come back.
So he just takes something he takes
Like her hair
another
clip or
like
something.
jewelry
Yeah.
from Jasmine and says, "Hey, I'm gonna return this back. I promise."
And then as soon as he walks out, gets captured
Boom.
by Jafar's guards because Iago kind of sees Aladdin running through the palace,
Yeah.
and he kind of is like, Jafar, diamond in the rough,
There's a thief.
which is what they're looking
Yeah.
for to enter the Cave of Wonders,
Yeah.
right? So
They set that up really fast in the beginning too.
yeah,
They didn't even set up Jafar's character until right now.
yeah. They had a small scene where he
Why?
tried to like hypnotize the Sultan and tell him to invade, so like he wants to invade.
Yeah.
But like to your point, it's a very small scene, and it just shows like Jafar still has the snake rod thing. Yeah, so they don't set up Jafar's character very much, which I don't think they would have needed to if Jafar had more. The actor that played him had more charisma to the character, because it just consistently felt to me like he was just saying lines. Did not have that kind of snide kind of way about him that Jafar had in the animated ones. And
The laugh wasn't even.
No, he laughed like once, and it was like, like it was like, yeesh.
Oh gosh.
Like, it was weird. Yeah, he just didn't really have any like character about him.
Yeah. His lines were like,
it was like, I'm Jafar, and I don't need you. You are dead now. Now I will go and talk to the Sultan about doing things I want.
just really hard to just
It was
listen
just
to him.
boring. Yeah, he was clever, but in this one he's not clever. He's just like power hungry, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Which like any villain is. But Jafar kind of takes Aladdin and convinces him to go into the Cave of Wonders for him, and he'll make him rich and to impress Jasmine and stuff like that. Obviously, Aladdin's the diamond in the rough, so he gets in. Yeah, he goes into the Cave of Wonders, and
I thought that was pretty cool. Actually,
the Cave of Wonders was very cool.
The inside of the Cave of Wonders was absolutely amazing.
It was
also
well
one of
designed.
the other like different changes that they had compared to the animation one. This Cave of Wonders was really cool.
Eventually, he gets to like. I want to get to the point where I want to talk about it. It looked really dope. He gets to the point where he gets the like lamp, and obviously like Abu picks up a gem and ruins the whole thing. As soon as he does this, and the cave starts shaking, and it's like, you'll never see the light of day. You've touched the forbidden treasure, right? It kind of takes you out to this zoomed out view of Aladdin on the like tall, like slender rock thing that he's climbed. And all the walls just explode with like lava, and it was done in such like a amazing cinematic way, and it looked freaking stunning. Like it was awesome looking. And then it had proceeded with this Aladdin kind of like parkouring his way to safety, and the direction and everything in that scene was great. I like when he was in there, I was totally in. And then obviously he gets the lamp to the top, and then Jafar is like, I'll help you up, but give me the lamp. And then obviously doesn't help him up. The lamp first, hurry, there is no time. And they get trapped in the Cave of Wonders. I'm trying not to dwell on that too much, because you guys generally know. And that leads to him kind of being introduced to the genie. He kind of does his whole "you never had a friend like me" routine.
Never had a friend like that.
That's fantastic. That's when you really get that kind of hip hop influence on it, and it's really fun. The dances are still awesome.
Super fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it. Like, definitely go see. Like, I would see it for that alone.
Mm-hmm.
Just the musical numbers are amazing.
So they get out of the cave. Aladdin makes his first wish of becoming a prince, and that whole gag of like Will Smith trying to make him
being
a prince,
like the designer.
Yeah, would make him a prince and everything was just also amazing.
Yeah,
and then
he's
it
like
goes
picking the colors, and he's like, no, that won't work. It doesn't. It clashes with your skin. Like,
yeah, it was just pretty.
It's funny.
It was fun,
mm-hmm.
and man, I was just on that ride.
No, yeah, because this is
the
where
genie
you have
the whole time.
You have Never Have a Friend Like Me. Then you have that moment where he's dressing Aladdin, and then it goes straight into like Prince Ali.
Prince Ali.
And it's that's like the best moment. That section is the best moment of this film. Mm-hmm.
That entire time was probably like a 10 for me.
When he comes in with Prince Ali, there's like, it's elaborate.
Oh,
it's as
great.
elaborate, if not more, than the
big.
animated. And it's live action. Oh man, it's so good. You have the whole like genie pretend to be a lady thing still, so that's fun. It's like, as you pointed out, total Fresh Prince of the lamp.
Oh my goodness, it was
Genie
so
of Bel-Air.
fun.
Yeah, they had to definitely like stay true to the Bollywood feel. Really went with it, and it's perfect because that encapsulate the area that they're in, right? And then they kind of slowed the song down, and it was like, Prince Ali. It was so slick. You guys gotta go watch it. It's so good. Just for that, like the Prince Ali part, like that's worth it for me. They make the songs, they're the classic songs that you know and love, but then they kind of like make it more modern. But yeah, so eventually he gets in and he kind of like presents the Sultan with jams. They really like, they think jam is really funny on that set. I don't know, something happened. He basically objectifies Jasmine a couple times on an accident. And she's twice. Like, and Jasmine being like the strong, independent person she is, like, okay, screw you. And just kind of leaves. And he's like, oh, dang it, I messed up. And Genie's all embarrassed and stuff. Then you kind of move on to, this is the extra like Bollywood dance type thing. They go to like a harvest party, basically, to celebrate the harvest. And this is where actually Genie encounters his kind of romantic element to his story that they added with the handmaiden, Dahlia. I absolutely had no problem with it. I thought it was a good addition to Genie's story.
Yeah, it was a cute side story.
Very cute story. So it's cool to see him kind of, and he's hilarious the whole time. Yeah, there's some excellent moments where he's like totally trying to hit on her, and it brings that kind of like human feel to Genie that like, you know, we always assumed, but it really kind of brings it to the screen for us. Yeah, so then you get into the kind of dance number, basically to get Aladdin to stop being embarrassing. Jasmine's like, want to dance? And they go dance, and Genie kind of controls him throughout it because Aladdin was like, I don't know how to dance. It was super fun, man. I don't know, like whenever they're dancing, it's all I can say is it's super fun, like because it is. They got some good dancers on set, man.
Yeah, so it goes on. Will Smith is controlling Aladdin, the genie, with like the dancing and stuff, and it kind of goes too far where Jasmine. She's like, I don't want this.
Aladdin gets kind of showy-offy. She's like, oh, you're...
Yeah. She leaves the party, and Aladdin's kind of bummed out. And it goes to that balcony scene. And they go on that magic carpet ride, singing A Whole New World.
And it sounds the exact same. They do so well.
I loved it.
No, it was great. Man, Mina and Naomi are amazing singers. It sounds just like it with a more modern feel to it, and it's awesome. I don't think they could have casted a better Aladdin or Jasmine.
I don't think so either. Yep.
They actually end it a little differently this time, where they're kind of just hanging out around the city and watching the rest of the city folk kind of party. Hanging out after their magic carpet ride. Basically, they kind of talk about... She kind of does the whole tricks him into saying like, "Oh, is that Abu down there?" Like in the original, and he's like, "No, Abu's back at the palace. Oh, shoot,
you got me." Yeah.
She figures out it's Aladdin. He kind of like feels awkward that he lied to her, and so he's like, "Oh, we should go back now, right?" And they go back and they share a kiss, and he's like really excited. So Iago reports back to Jafar, and he's like, "Yo, he has a magic carpet. That's Aladdin." Oh, which we didn't talk about genie magic. They kind of like fill in some plot holes in this movie for a couple of things. This is one of those I actually liked. For this one, they said like genie magic works by people see what they're told to see kind of thing. So if you wish to be a prince, people like see you and they're like prince. Like it just connects in their minds. So when he runs into Jafar again and Jasmine for another time, they don't recognize him as Aladdin. Obviously, they see prince because of genie magic. So that's how they kind of cover that loophole, which I guess they kind of did in the original, but they made sure to make it a point in this one. So yeah, Jafar kind of like figures it out, and it's something that Genie says during the conversation he's having after the carpet ride, where Genie's like, eventually your character will shine through kind of thing. Jafar captures him, and he's not totally sure if he's Aladdin or not yet, but he's like, I'm just going to throw you off this castle, and if you drown into that water down there, then... Sure, you're a prince.
This is kind of where it just goes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of like, all right. And then he's like, but if you are Aladdin, then you'll just wish your way out of it. And there's no way Jafar would know. So, I mean, this is, again, me being a little nitpicky, but, like, Jafar should have an idea, like, you need the genie to make a wish. Yeah. And obviously, he's not there.
I don't want to compare it too much to the animated movie, but the thing is
it's a remake. That's what you're asking
is that
for.
They get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
They try to get rid of Aladdin, like in general, like just altogether, without knowing that he had a lamp or that it was Aladdin. They were just trying to get rid of him so Jafar can get to Jasmine.
Yeah, I know they.
But this one, they're like, well, you have to prove if you're Aladdin or not. For me, that was a little bit.
That was one of the changes that didn't go very smoothly. And it gets kind of rougher later on because of that decision later too. He gets pushed over, he's about to drown, he passes out, and then like rubs the lamp, ex machina like, which happened in the original as well. And Genie kind of like makes him.
He didn't pop out in like a bathtub or anything like that.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, I wanted to see that.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah, he kind of like makes an executive order and is like, all right, you wish to be saved, and then saves him. Aladdin's thankful for it, and he's like, no, you saved my life, Genie, thank you. And this is another part of that decision where instead of just like getting rid of Aladdin and locking him up and then like telling them that he's left, he tells them that he left, but then Aladdin's obviously fine. And then Jasmine was like, so you saw him, like she sets Jafar up, which is actually like one of the reasons I really like Jasmine in this movie, because they let her like be smart and tactical. Like she wants to be Sultan. So this is an excellent moment for her to kind of show that she's like smart enough to lead. Yeah. And she like totally catches Jafar and his lie by setting him up, kind of like, hey, so you saw him leave, so you heard him say those things. Okay, then why is he still here? And then he tries to hypnotize the Sultan, and Aladdin grabs the staff and breaks it. And then Sultan puts him in prison, and Iago obviously gets him out. This is at the point where Aladdin's kind of deciding, I need to tell him the truth, but they're like kind of showering him with compliments, so he kind of like can't. Because he's like, I need to tell you something. And then every time he does, the Sultan kind of jumps in with like, you're so honorable. No one will ever question your honor and integrity kind of thing. And he's like, Aladdin kind of takes a walk back out into the city to kind of collect his head. To really think about, should he tell him or not? And this is when he runs into Jafar. And Jafar kind of uses his pickpocketing skills, which they did set up in the beginning. So yeah, he uses those pickpocketing skills that he has to get the lamp. This is where the pacing issue comes in, because as soon as Jafar gets the lamp, things start moving like fast, and it's not in like a climactic way. It's like the climax was already building, and now I'm like,
dude, it goes back to back. It goes to him wishing that he was the Sultan, and then he wishes to be a sorcerer.
Quickly realizes that's not enough.
Yeah, that's not enough. He wishes to become the greatest sorcerer, and then he sends Aladdin away, just out,
like into the tundra,
right?
Which,
and
like, so
the
that's
end of the world.
He said the ends of the world, so I'm imagining as far away as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to talk about the song. He's like, I'm gonna be Sultan now, so he wishes to be Sultan, and then he kind of like has the guard. He's like, the law is the law. I'm the Sultan. You obey me now. And the guy's like, yes, Sultan. And he kind of like regretfully does it. But yeah, he sees him as Sultan now, because that's genie magic. Sees him, Sultan. And that's what he said earlier. He's like, I obey the Sultan. The law is the law kind of thing. And then they kind of escort Jasmine out. And this is when she has her like big song that's new to the movie. And Naomi Scott puts more passion into this one song than I've put into my entire life. It's like two passions.
We were blown back just by the performance, the energy, and all her feelings just came out, pouring out onto the screen and onto us through this song, and it was amazing. And it was one of the things that I'm like, oh, I'm back in this movie now.
Yeah, during this whole bumpy climactic exit, that song is what saved this movie from like being a bad movie.
That and all of Will Smith's Friend Like Me. And
it's kind of a music video style where it kind of breaks reality for a second, and it's all kind of going on in her head. My one complaint about it is it definitely like, you're at first kind of like, she kind of like pulls off the guards and starts singing and they turn into dust, and you're like,
whoa,
wait, what?
What?
Oh, this is in her head. Got it. Like, it doesn't really warn you or anything or set it, that kind of thing up. It's another one of those things that they haven't done all movie long. So, like, you're not ready for it. They did that, set that up from the beginning where, you know, people sing in their minds and then something happens, then you would understand it. So it is kind of awkward at first, but the song and the performance is so powerful. It's like, it's worth the whole thing. And the way it's filmed, it's all like it follows her the whole way. It's not like cutting around. It follows her the whole way back to the throne room
and then it goes and she's all like, who the real Sultan is.
Yeah.
You're just.
You have to serve the people, not Jafar.
Sultan's not a title that you follow.
It's another Sultan moment for Jasmine.
This sets Jasmine apart as a character. That she is a character in the story. She's
not dependent on Aladdin. That was my favorite part of the whole movie, was the fact that her character was so strengthened, and it's really cool. It's a really cool moment for. I'm really excited for little girls to be able to watch this and feel that too.
To speak out, and we felt that for sure in this.
Seriously, just look in her eyes as she's singing that song.
That is real. That is real.
So that was the one good part about this bumpy climactic road. But then
he wishes to be a sorcerer.
Quickly realizes that's not enough.
Yeah, that's not enough. He wishes to become the greatest sorcerer, and then he sends Aladdin away, just out.
Into the tundra?
Right.
Which,
that's the end of the world.
He said the ends of the world, so I'm imagining as far away as possible. Yeah. And Genie kind of sends the carpet after him, and
which doesn't happen in the movie, by the way. But the thing is that I like that choice as well, because you can kind of tell that Genie is still friends with Aladdin, and it kind of has that friendship still kind of set with Genie, Will Smith, and Aladdin.
You don't really see him get saved. You see him pass out on a cliff.
Yeah, and the carpet flies above him, and he's like...
Yeah, and that's it. And then the next scene is Jasmine agrees to marry Jafar, and he's flying in the background. I'm like, how long was...
Wait.
There's no way Aladdin could fly from the ends of the earth back to Agrabah. I don't know how fast this carpet flies.
Right.
And that's where the pacing kind of just gets a little bumpy.
It's boom, 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 boom. And you're just like, oh man, this is going way too fast. It felt like a really short amount of time, and it just jumped right in where Aladdin's just going to come in. And then the next thing you know, Aladdin tricks Jafar into wishing himself a genie. Becoming a genie, obviously, when you wake up, it's going to be
brass. Ooh, is that copper? Nope, brass. Just the normal ending where he gets sucked back into the lamp. He grabs Iago on his way in.
Everything comes to with Jafar's closing. He gets sent away, and then Aladdin wishes Genie free, in the movie. Genie has this conclusion. He's like, oh, what are you going to do now that you're human? And he's like, well, I'm going to go with my lover.
Nazim.
Yeah. And then they're all like, oh, where did Aladdin go? And Aladdin's outside the palace, kind of walking away from that royalty. The whole royal life wasn't my life kind of thing. I'm going to leave this behind. Jasmine's in a better place. She
gets Sultan.
Yeah,
she gets named Sultan.
Yeah, Jasmine becomes Sultan.
Her dad finally
he's just all like, you know what?
You showed me how brave you're braver than I am.
You're better, suited for this role. Your eyes are open. You're smarter than me.
You kick ass.
All that stuff.
That song was amazing. Here you go. He crowns her Sultan. Is change the law. You're Sultan now.
Yeah,
he's a good guy.
You got
go
this.
Get him. And she goes and gets him.
And it ended off well. They get married. There's that whole Bollywood. Style.
It's so fun.
To it when they're
I'm
dancing.
So glad they added
it's the end of the movie, and they start dancing. They're going through everybody, just all the characters. And they're all doing their moves.
But all in all, it's a very fun movie.
Go watch it. I mean, it's a movie for the big screen. That's for sure.
I just wanted to wrap this up with just save it for me. I just think this movie was one of the best live action adaptations that Disney has done thus far. It's my favorite. I think it's the best, and
most entertaining.
It was done really well, with a lot of respect for the original, and with a lot of new stuff that strengthened a lot of the story. And while it fell short on some of the characters, it did the original justice at the very least, and it is very fun to watch. On top of that,
I have one last thing to say. Since this world of Aladdin is a magical world that deals with a lot of magic. I just wish there could have been a little bit more magic, especially the sorcery with, Jafar. Would have made him a little bit more villainous with it as too, very mischievous, that kind of characterizes an antagonist against Aladdin, and a little bit more defining with the magic.
What the limitations are.
Would have helped kind of just set this world apart from the animation
Yep.
to the live action.
Final thoughts.
Yeah, just final thoughts.
Final thoughts. We're gonna go on to IMDB reviews. And I think I found some pretty good ones this time.
Oh, okay. Shoot at it.
It was honestly like,
I'm
okay,
so pumped.
it was surprisingly easy to find these this time.
Oh,
Usually
okay.
I have to dig a little bit. So the first one I pulled up here. So it's a 5 out of 10 reviewed by Shaun of the Dead. He says Aladdin tries quite hard but does not make a convincing argument for its own existence and occasionally threatens to ruin your childhood. And yeah, so that's...
Threatens to ruin... This movie threatens to ruin
Yes,
a childhood?
He wants his movie to be more misogynistic and where the woman is just eye candy.
The message in the story of Aladdin, especially portrayed by, Jasmine, tells all kids, all children to, just speak their
Be
opinion
yourself,
and
right?
just, speak out.
And that just ruins his childhood. Doesn't that make you so mad when people are speaking their minds?
So I am a father.
But Josh, this is just the subject. We still got more, buddy.
I would want my child to speak
I
up
ain't even done.
and share his thoughts.
But this person doesn't agree with that. He doesn't like your kid's thoughts. His are more important. That's why the rest of his review, which we'll get to, buddy.
I'm sorry.
Is so bad.
I'm not sorry. I'm not apologizing to you. I'm apologizing to you.
Yeah, because
as a father, I do not. This movie does not ruin the child or their childhood. I'm done.
All right, that's it. All right. Anyways, so
You're saying we're not done yet?
I haven't even started the review part of this guy. I was just setting up what he said.
My goodness.
So
I'm getting so fired up right now.
the point I brought up this review wasn't because of the title, even though we got plenty of good stuff from Josh there. The reason is because of what he says about Genie. He says, I don't want to dream of Genie because he's a funny guy. And he thinks basically that Genie was one of Disney's towering achievements. And because of that, you just can't redo it in any way ever again. Yeah, basically he's saying you can't redo the Genie. It was done so well the first time, you can't even touch it because Robin Williams is the only person that can do it. But here's the thing. I'm sure if Disney were able to get a hold of him, that he would be recast into that same role, just as James Earl Jones was for Mufasa. But I'm not sure if you know this, and brace yourself.
Spoiler.
Because it's a big one. He's dead. And thus is unavailable to do movies anymore. And here's the other thing. The second part to it. Show some amount of respect for the work that Will Smith put into this role. And for the respect that he gave Robin Williams, as well as the respect he gave to the audience by doing something different, but not just throwing away everything Robin Williams made with his character.
He put in so much work, and it you definitely see that on screen, and that's why all of his parts makes the most enjoyable parts of the movie, and that's why it was ranked as high as it was, as we ranked it, and you can definitely see that work. I mean, he made his own music, like, for it, and the style of music for that part, but keeping it close to that old original part of it. I don't know what you expect.
He just says he's the stuff of nightmares, and that just seems like, I guess he doesn't want anyone to do it, but the thing is, they made money this weekend. Regardless of what you thought, dude. And guess what? Will Smith is still a great actor, and he did a great job.
Yeah.
If you can't see that, you're a trash reviewer. You're trash.
He's being commended.
Recognized talent, baby. But yeah, so that was kind of his whole deal.
Did you cast Jafar? Was that why he was bad?
Casted Jafar.
Yeah.
So the next review.
Next. I don't want to deal with this guy anymore.
This one is going to be from S. Millas. Gave it a 3 out of 10. And this is the funny one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
the.
I needed
This
some,
is the one.
I need
this
some
makes you
comedic
smile.
relief because I was just too riled up from.
If
that
you
last
like
week.
hypocrisy and irony, this is for you. So his review was lots of fake reviews here. ... Now let's go into why he thinks there were fake reviews, which I'm sure there were. Like, I'm not saying there wasn't,
There's always.
but
Fake
let's see
reviews
his
on
justification for what a fake review looks like.
IMDb. Okay.
Funny how pretty much every 10 rating saying amazing, etc., is from an account that only has one review, this movie, and has only been activated for a week. Not suspicious at all. Let's go into this guy's account for you.
Okay, let's go check him out to see if he's actually.
Dude's got 2 reviews. This movie and some movie I've never heard of before. 2 reviews? You're saying that because there were accounts with very few or 1 review, they're obviously fake, and then you don't even have the decency to realize your mistake and be like,
We got you.
we got him!
We got him.
We got him?
We got him.
We got him! Alright, yes!
Yes.
That's it, I guess. We fixed the problem.
We
fixed it.
caught him in the act.
Yeah,
You're done.
That's it. Alright, let's move on. This one is a positive review from Sala 151183.
Okay.
It's a 9 out of 10. Is it really better than the animated original?
Wait.
I can quick answer that one for you. No.
No. It wasn't better than the.
There were parts that were better,
Than the original.
i.e. Jasmine's story arc. Like, that was nice.
Yeah, there were
Character
some
arc was
visuals
better.
that popped out as well. That
Yeah.
was pretty good.
But really easily can say no, it is
No.
not better than the original. Let's carry on. Dare I say it? You already did. I say this as a true Disney and Aladdin fan, so take my words lightly. So don't take my words lightly. I like how whenever someone says something, they always have to qualify it with, I'm a huge fan of it. Like, that doesn't matter. If you're reviewing a movie, that's actually worse. You know? Like, when I say I'm a fan of something, I'm trying to tell y'all I'm gonna give it way too much credit. But there are a lot of fans out there, so you being an Aladdin fan, is it like, oh, this is one of those rare ones that like the Aladdin? Did you know there are people out there that like Aladdin? It's weird. They said it gave me more feeling and understanding of the characters more so than the animated did. The only one that did that was Jasmine.
It was Jasmine.
Jasmine was the only character that had more understanding.
We can agree to that.
But for the most part, the main characters did not they might have had more understanding because it was a remake and you already knew stuff, you know? That's the only reason I can think of saying something like that. But just to give this a 9 out of 10 is
That's ridiculous.
yeah, so
Next.
I thought we
I'm
would
gonna
go and
start.
see what else
Oh,
they
okay.
reviewed because
Okay.
of that.
Let's-
Because, while they made good points, the fact that it's a 9 out of 10, just those points don't justify that rating
Okay.
quite enough. So let's see.
Let's see if they get any credibility
So-
to what they're saying.
The one that stuck out to me here is Us, the Jordan Peele movie, which was fantastic, by the way. I gave it a 9. It's full of symbolism, full of character development that she's talking about in her review, that Aladdin supposedly had better in this version. She gave that movie a 5. If you think that movie is an average movie, you need to go rewatch it and pay more attention, because that movie had some key elements to it. He just does it in such a cerebral way. And then this movie, I would dare not say cerebral to describe it.
So Us is also an original story.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a remake of any kind.
He didn't have the scaffolding to make the story. He made it from the bottom up. There's this one reviewer, Irish Boy 141. This person gave this movie a 2 out of 10, right? Which it's way more fun than a 2 out of 10. I don't even know how to tell you guys this.
No, wait, what's going on?
Because it hurts me in my
What's going
heart. He gave Mortal Kombat Annihilation a 10 out of 10. when it then you cannot.
No.
But if you, the fact that that's a 10 out of 10 and that's a 2 out of 10 is beyond asinine. But the fact that he gave it, the reasoning he had behind giving it a 10 out of 10 was that it was so bad, it was good. Which I don't understand. Then how could you ever give a movie a bad rating if bad movies for you are good? Like a 2 out of 10 is pretty bad for me.
Oh. We got another one.
We got him again?
We got another one.
Freaking got him! Last but not least, I want to kind of point out, he says the direction and editing is boring and uninspired, containing lots of flat, static shots and predictable edits.
What? Well, were there any examples, Brett? With that?
It's an IMDB reviewer. What you haven't learned by now? Of course not.
Well, what the?
Perfect.